As you are thinking about your post-high school path, I'd like to explore a couple of questions with you. The first question is, what is college for anyway? When I ask this question to people around the country, I get mostly two different answers. A few brave souls will say something like, well, it's when I finally get some freedom. I can get up when I want, I can go to bed when I want, I can take the classes I want, avoid the classes I don't want, do pretty much whatever I want. It's a little like a 4-year vacation, and my parents pay for it. Now, not too many say this, but I have a sneaky feeling that more think it than are willing to say it. Most people say something like, college is job training. I pick a major in something I like or think I will like. I get trained in that discipline, and I get a job in that field. Well, there are a couple of flaws in this thinking. The first is that the likelihood of someone picking a major, getting trained in that discipline, and remaining in that field is very low. The data suggests, this is going to blow your way, the data suggests that a typical 18-year-old today will work in as many as 18 jobs in as many as 6 different fields during the course of a career. An education or training in a highly focused area may not serve you well over your lifetime. Let me give you a couple of real-life examples. A relative of mine attended a fashion school in Paris. It was an intense, highly focused training in fashion design and creation. After graduation, she landed a dream job, a position with Louis Vuitton, a company that makes very high-end, ready-to-wear clothing. And in fact, she works in the special project studio where she makes gowns for France's First Lady and various dignitaries and stars. In short, she makes $150,000 dresses all day long. And she's very good at it. But now she's rethinking her life. The career is overwhelming her family life and she wants to do something else. But she's struggling. Her training was so focused that she's not sure what else she can do. Another problem with this kind of education is that everything in the workplace is changing so rapidly. There is no guarantee that an education in a particular major will actually prepare you adequately to work even in that field. For example, when I was at the University of Florida, there was a very large computer science program, thousands of students. The program typically hired faculty from the industry. But as soon as someone left the industry to become a faculty member, that person quickly lost currency with what was going on in the industry. As a result, students found that upon graduation, they did not always have the requisite skills to get employment. They had to supplement their education with various certificates demonstrating further training. I actually have a colleague who hires people for a software company. He told me that having a degree in something, not necessarily computer programming, well, it does demonstrate that a person can tackle a large task and complete it. But beyond that, the degree is not very useful in determining the qualifications of a candidate. He looks for those certifications in various competencies. Certifications, by the way, that are attainable without a college degree. And just this week, I learned that Google now does over 50% of its programming in all areas through AI, not with programmers. Now, Google does hire programmers, but they are more interested in people who have problem-solving skills. We believe that a better approach to college is to seek a broad education at the undergraduate level, an education that will help you think logically, be able to problem solve, speak, and write articulately. In short, demonstrate to prospective employers that you can learn what they need you to learn to work successfully for them. Again, when I was at the University of Florida, there was a job fair every year. 1,500 employers came onto campus looking for employees. 1,300 of these employers did not care about majors. They wanted to have confidence that a new employee could learn what was needed to be successful in their companies. This is the kind of education that we embrace, that we offer at the Collegium. But we do more than offer an education, and that brings me to my second question. What's the goal of a Catholic life? Well, I hope that your answer is heaven. If it is, that leads me to a follow-up question. How do I live that Catholic life to achieve that goal of heaven? Well, we could explore this question for a lifetime. Indeed, living a Catholic life is a lifetime endeavor. But at least one part of that answer to that question surely must be staying close to the Church. Why do I say that? Well, let me answer that in a series of 5 rhetorical questions. So 1, before Christ ascended to heaven, he established the Church to continue his presence and his work on the earth after he would no longer be physically present. Is this true or false? Well, of course it's true. Number 2, the principal ways that the Church continues Christ's presence and his work on the earth is that she teaches, she governs, and she sanctifies. Is this true or false? Well, it's true. Number 3, the principal way that the Church sanctifies is that she administers the infinite merits of the cross, the very life of Christ poured out on the cross that we call sanctifying grace, through the sacraments that Christ instituted for the very purpose of sanctification. Is this true or false? It is true. Number 4, we must be in the state of sanctifying grace to enter heaven. True or false? Well, of course it's true. No one can enter the presence of God without being completely sanctified, made holy. So here's the punchline question. If sanctifying grace is necessary for salvation, and if the Church is where we receive sanctifying grace, well, then staying close to the Church is a critical part of achieving that goal of a Catholic life, that goal of heaven. Is this true or false? Well, of course, it must be true. Here's an important ancillary fact. About 93% of young Catholic adults today no longer attend Sunday Mass regularly. That is, they are not staying close to the Church. But there is an exception to this statistic. Young Catholic adults who are attached to a traditional Latin Mass community, who attend the traditional Latin Mass Sunday regularly, they attend Sunday Mass at a rate of 98%. That's a 98% attendance rate versus a 7% attendance rate. 98% staying close to the Church versus 93% abandoning the Church. We believe that a critical aspect of an undergraduate college experience should be a formation that helps students understand the importance of the Church in their lives and the opportunities, and that gives them the opportunities to strengthen their bonds to the Church, which include embracing tradition, because it works. It helps us stay close to the Church. That is at the heart of who we are and what we offer. An education for life and a formation for heaven. If this matters to you, I invite you to explore us further.